Welcome back, race fans, to the penultimate round of the 2022 Formula One Powerboat Championships. Here, it's the battle on the San Jacinto 2022. Kicking off today's live streaming action, brought to you by Boat and Development, is the Texas Tri-Hull class. We call these guys bumper boats at 65 miles an hour. They're going to go 2 by 2, inside and outside. We've got 15 boats lined up here in the Texas Tri-Hull class, and it's going to be a doozy of a qualifying heat. They're going to have 4 qualifying heats to set their starting grid for tomorrow's main event and their 20-lap final. As they everybody looks to try to knock off the number 17 and Neil Marsh, the man from Bay City, Michigan, who has had a stranglehold on the 2022 Texas Tri-Hull standings. As the pace boat, jet ski Jared out in front, setting him up, looks like on the inside of row 1, that's the number 99 of Devin Brown. On the outside of row 1, the number 17 of Neil Marsh, and it's the 54 of Darren Ware. There's the green flag, and we're underway. The 99 of Devin Brown going tight to the inside. On his outside hip, there's the number 17 of Neil Marsh, and it's the 13, the young gun Grant Schubert, moving his way up into the third. Then the 54 of Darren Ware, followed by the 33 of Jim Ottinger. Now here comes Ottinger between the number 10 of Rinker and the 54 of Ware. Then it's the number 1 of Corey Walker. As we've got him working, our leader, the number 99 of Devin Brown, and that Snap-on Tools, sponsored all black beauty out there with that lime green, number 99 on the side, out in front, trying to find the clear water and push it hard. Then that's the 13 of Grant Schubert there now has moved his way up into second, getting around the number 17 of Neil Marsh. So the 13 of Grant Schubert making some good moves here early on in the Texas Tri-Hull division of the Formula One Powerboat Championships. The 1 of Corey Walker is starting to move his way up as well. The Marsh now falling back to third. There's the 99 of Devin Brown, our leader, sweeping it out of turn number 3. Coming down the front straightaway, it looks like we're going to start to catch some back markers. We've already got one boat pulled off the course. There's the 33 Ottinger slamming it down out of turn number 3. As they all go down the front straightaway, the leader, the 99 of Devin Brown, making his way down into turn number 1. There's the 13 of Schubert bouncing as the waters of the San Jacinto start to get choppy off these bulkheads mounted on the west side of the river. As our leader, the 99 of Devin Brown, tries to work hard. There's the 17 of Neil Marsh. We've got a boat down wide to the outside on the backside of the course. That's what happens here in Texas Tri-Hulls. They go slamming and bouncing into one another, and things get crazy real quick, ladies and gentlemen, as our leader, the number 99 of Devin Brown, trying to go wire to wire. He started on the inside of lane 1. Pushing hard to try to hold off the 13 of Grant Schubert. Now the 17 of Neil Marsh is starting to slow down there. It's getting by him. It's the man who's 77 years young, the number 10 of Scary, Jerry Rinker. Then the 17 of Marsh, 33 of Ottinger nipping on his heels. Here comes the 1 of Corey Walker, as well as the 88. Oh, that's the 52 of Mason Rinker. We got them all jammed up here coming down the back straightaway. The leader, the number 99 of Devin Brown, still pushing hard. Out in front, trying to ensure that he can hold off the 13 of Schubert. But boy, look at them all slam there down into the far end of the course. They go sweeping around. There's the 13 of Schubert. They make it down into turn 1. Hey, Devin, you better watch out, young man, because the 13 of Schubert's nipping on your heels as they go wide to the outside, down the back straightaway. The water's getting rough. They're bouncing all over. 55, 60, 65 miles an hour, top speed down the back straightaway. As they go down in to the far south end of the course, the 99 of Brown has got a rear view mirror full of the 13 JH Performance. There he is, the young man out of Richmond, Texas, Mr. Grant Schubert. Schubert pushing hard as they've really started to separate themselves from the rest of the pack. Now up in third position, the number 10 of Scary Jerry Rinker, pushing hard. There's the overhead shot of the 99 of Brown, making his way out of the north end of the course in turn 1. With on his outside hep, the 13 of Grant Schubert continuing to push hard. As our leader, the 99 of Brown, keeps it tight to the inside. He knows short way around the course is what's going to allow him to keep the 13 at bay. And here's a battle for fourth. The 33 of Jim Ottinger on the outside. The 52 of Mason Rinker on the inside. As they sweep it down, the 33 of Ottinger holding it off. There comes the white flag. Go fast. Turn left just a couple more times for the man out of Richmond, Texas, the number 99 of Devin Brown pushing hard. But the 33 of Ottinger was able to get by the 52 of Mason Rinker. And here comes the 1 of Corey Walker. But it's all about Devin Brown. The 99 of Devin Brown now making his way out of turn number 2 on the south end of the course. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together going wire to wire. The number 99, Devin Brown. And in second place, not enough time to catch him, was the number 13 at Grant Schubert. And rounding out the podium in the first of 4 qualifying heats here in Texas Tri-Hall, the number 10 is Jerry Rinker. Then it's the 33 of John Ottinger, the 52 of Mason Rinker, the 56 of the number 1 of Corey Walker, and the rest of the field here in the Texas Tri-Hall. Boy, it was a 2-horse race there for the majority of that one between the 99 of Devin Brown and the 13 of Grant Schubert. Both hailing out of Richmond, Texas. You know, those two fight all year long, trying to figure out who's going to be the best of the best here in the Tri-Hall class. And the 99 of Devin Brown finished 22 strong. Finished 2021 very strong, trying to make 2022 his year and find himself on the podium at the end of the season. But what a great run there, and hopefully we're going to get a chance to chat with the number 99 of Devin Brown. Great run for the young man out of Richmond, Texas, pushing hard and doing a great job of running Black Beauty to a checkered flag. That Snap-on Tools machine has just been redone here for this race, completely redone the outside, cleaned it all up. As you can imagine here in Texas Tri-Hall racing, there's a lot of carnage. These boats slam and bounce into one another. I've seen them go 5 wide in the corner and end up with one on top of the other. It's an unbelievable class and something that's near and dear to my heart. You know why? Because I'm a big guy, and big guys can do well in Tri-Hall. That's why I like Tri-Hall. It's a heck of a lot of fun, and it's a great entry-level class. So those of you out there, wherever you are across the United States, or if you're joining me here on the beautiful shores of the San Jacinto River here in Highlands, Texas, at the Baytown Boat Club, you want to get in. Check out F1PowerboatChampionship.com, all the contact information to get into the Texas Tri-Hall class. These boats are built right here in the greater Houston area. They're full composite. They've got roll cages, safety harnesses, extremely, extremely safe racing. And hey, you know what? Extremely economical as well. This is one of our great entry-level classes. We've seen a handful of our top Formula One drivers made it into Formula One by cutting their teeth in the Texas Tri-Hall class. Because if you can drive a Texas Tri-Hall, you can basically drive anything. And that's going to conclude Heat 1 here in the Texas Tri-Hall division. Up next here on the Formula One schedule, Formula One Powerboat Championship schedule here for the battle on the San Jacinto. We are going to have the Formula Ones back out on the water. We've got 14 drivers from all across North America making their way here to Highlands, Texas to run in the battle on the San Jacinto for 2022. And we had our fast lap qualifiers earlier today, and we had 10 drivers within less than 1 second of one another. That's 10 drivers within less than 1 second of one another. You are going to see an absolute jam-packed day of racing, and what an unbelievable race it's going to be. And here's the big news. The brand new, released in 2021 Mercury APX 200 is on the pole for qualifying here in the Formula One class, run by the 03 of Dustin Terry. Unbelievable performance by the young man out of Thibodaux, Louisiana. We call him the Dust Man. And what a great run it was for him. And he's got to be super excited to put that brand new APX on the pole here in the Formula One class. Well, we'll be right back as we unload the Texas Tri-Halls. We're going to load back up. We're going to load in the Formula Ones, and we're going to right back with more racing action. But first, we're going to take a quick break and say thank you to our sponsors. The great folks at Mercury Racing, committed to the pursuit of wide open, accept no boundaries and accept no compromise. JH Performance Boats, custom, handcrafted, shallow water bay boats built with the highest quality materials. VP Racing Fuels. Learn more about VP Racing's Ultramarine and explore VP's full product line at vpracingfuels.com. VP Racing Fuels, the official fuel sponsor of the Formula One Powerboat Championships. Racing Communications. They're radios for racing. Seabold Sports, world champion powerboat racing since 1939. Seaway Marine, specializing in Johnson, Evinrude, Gale, Chrysler, Force, and Mercury outboard motors, as well as OMC and Mercruiser stern drives, as well as engine parts for Chris Craft, inboard V8 engines, and anything else you can imagine to power your marine device. Seaway Marine can be your one-stop boat motor shop. Check them out at seawaymarine.com. And the great folks sponsoring our live streaming here in 2022, the great folks at Bowden Development, building a higher standard in what's made Bowden Development Incorporated one of the most trusted names in California construction industry. That's our series sponsors that allow us to travel the country and put on this great show for folks all across the United States. Those that brought us here specifically is another great additional group of sponsors that we'd love to thank. The great folks at Ameristar Roofing, Snap-on Tools. Devin Corbett is your number one Snap-on rep in the greater Houston metro, reinventing the essentials. Make sure you get a hold of Devin Corbett and the great folks at Snap-on Tools. Chris Kiefer Construction, custom construction and stone, serving the greater Austin, Central, and Southeastern Texas. Yates Electrical, shockingly, supreme service. Whether it be residential or commercial, don't forget to call Yates Electrical. Slack & Company Contracting, they build success. They are the number one choice for earthwork and mass excavation in the great state of Texas. And the Baytown Boat Club, housing boat racers since 1948, right here on the beautiful shores of the San Jacinto. The number one boat club in East Houston, the host of the 2022 Battle of the San Jacinto. We're loading the Formula Ones. The trials are off the water. We'll be right back with more racing action here. It's qualifying day at the Battle of the San Jacinto, the fourth round of the 2022 Formula One Powerboat Championships. Attention in the pits, attention in the pits. Formula One's to the ramp, Formula One's to the ramp. Attention in the pits, attention in the pits. Formula One to the ramp. Attention in the pits, attention in the pits. Formula One's to the ramp, Formula One's to the ramp. Well, race fans, it's been a great 2022 so far. We've seen some unbelievable racing all across the United States. We started off in Port Neches, Texas, and we had a doozy of a race down there in Port Neches. It was top to bottom. It was a tough one for anybody to come out on top, but we saw a couple of great drivers. The 24 of Spencer Love had a great run there in Port Neches, as well as the 03 of Dustin Terry, who really started to figure out that APX motor. That was his first time with the APX power on the back of his Formula One tunnel hull. You also got to look at the 52 of Chris Rinker, the 17 of Dylan Anderson. We saw the 20 of Ashton Rinker struggle a little bit early on the season. He's collected some solid points because he's finished every race. But we're really starting to finally see the Golden Boy come to form here, the number 20 of Ashton Rinker. And then the 71 of Jimmy Kerr. Unfortunately, having a great year, but not here this weekend. He's done really well so far. You got to watch out for the likes of the 77 of Mike Quindazzi, that buckshot cleaver machine. The 74 of Jesse Swain just found out, ran his best one-lap qualifier in his career, and subsequently found a giant hole in his motor. So his qualifying day is done on Saturday. They're going to try to get things rebuilt for tomorrow in the final heat of qualifying as well as the final event. But unfortunately, he's going to find himself mired way in the back of the pack, as he's not going to be able to qualify this afternoon after finding a hole in his motor. Another great driver on the Formula One Series who's not here, was not unable to make the trip all the way from California, the number 93 of RJ West. Another one of those drivers running the brand new Mercury Competition 200 APX motor on the back of their Formula One machine. A guy who's near and dear to my heart, who's been running really well this season and really improved. You know, I truly believe he's got our good friend in spirit, the late, great Tracy Hawkins, a man who spent a lot of time here at the Baytown Boat Club and was a great friend and competitor to all, who lost his life racing 2 years ago at the APBA National Championships in Springfield, Ohio. But I think he's been riding with Jude ever since. We've seen the number 70 of Jude Gaspard and Gaspard Brothers Racing really ratchet up their competition, getting a lot better and really impressive here so far in 2022. Another name that we aren't that hasn't been able to race for a few years, that made his way back to round two. That was at the APBA National Championships. All right, race fans, apologize about that due to these lovely almost 100-degree temperatures here in southeast Texas, which is a little bit abnormal, I've been told, for this time of the year. We had a bit of a power outage down here with all of our electrical equipment. We didn't lose our live stream, so thank you for all you folks, wherever you are across the world. If you're hanging out with us watching the 2022 Battle on the San Jacinto here, the 4th out of 5 rounds in 2022 on the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series. And we're looking to getting everything back up and running. And but thankfully we didn't lose our live stream, so all our great viewers across the globe, we appreciate you for sticking with us. And if you've got some comments, make sure you drop them in. I'll try to answer the best I can here. We really appreciate it. We got a lot of great names here that I'm used to seeing. Jeff Vasco, Jeff Zeller, watching from other parts of the United States. But we got a lot of great folks joining us here on the Battle on the San Jacinto here. We've got the Formula One class. We've got a few of the boats in the water. We see loading now is the number 70 Jude Gaspard and Gaspard Brothers Racing. One I was just talking about before. And, earlier we actually had a chance to sit down and chat with some of the drivers in the Formula One class to see what it's like. And the first one was a man who's had quite a bit of a hiatus. He was stuck in Canada. COVID-19 protocols did not allow him and his race team to bring all of their equipment and everything across the Canadian border into the United States. So he was basically stuck. And you can tell by the performance he put on in Springfield, Ohio about a month ago, the number 94 of Rusty Wyatt was itching to get back into the cockpit. And we're curious to see what's going to happen and what the thoughts are of the driver of the number 94 Crystal Clear Wiper Blades, Mr. Rusty Wyatt. Let's see what he has to say about his opportunity to take home a checkered flag this weekend here on the shores of the San Jacinto.
Joining me now here in the pits, the man who took a couple years off because his country wouldn't let him across the border. The 94 Rusty Wyatt finally making his way down to Texas here in 2022 after a phenomenal showing at the APBA National Championships in Springfield, Ohio. The Crystal Clear Wiper Blades machine is in top form. What are you going to do here to find that checkered flag here at the Battle on the San Jacinto?
Well, it's our first time here in Baytown. It's a beautiful spot. We've been doing lots of testing for the short course that we got set up here this weekend. So hopefully trying to, match what we did in Springfield. It was a really good return there. We were, like you say, we were 3 years since we've been a boat. So we put this thing back together in June of this year and decided to come back out and play. And here we are.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. You take 3 years off, not of any choice of your own, but you 3 years outside the boat, you step back into the thing, and it was like you never left. What was it like being out there battling for podiums in Ohio that first race back, and what does that do for your confidence level here coming into Highlands, Texas for the penultimate round of the 2022 season?
Well, there's endless hours into these boats. If you want to be fast, you got to put the time in. So we've definitely been putting the work in every day. So, that's it paid off in Springfield. We had a bit of a up and down day there Saturday, but Sunday was super close to getting that win. So I'm really hoping we can get right close to that win there this week, and we'll see. Hopefully we can come around with it.
Right now, a couple things happen, and you do some good things here this weekend. You could potentially work your way into that top 5 point standings for the overall season series. What would it mean for the Crystal Clear Wiper Blades team to bring home a top 5 season standings, considering it's been 3 years, you missed the opening round, and all the other things that have gone on for the last couple of years for your guys' racing team?
Yeah, well, it's funny because when the first round was going on, we didn't even really have a boat together at all. So kind of put it together last minute, did a lot of testing, a lot of time, like I said, into the boat setup and motors and all that jazz and putting the crew together. So yeah, heck, it would be unbelievable to get in the top 5. Let's hope we can do that and finish out this weekend with a top 3 and close it off in Havasu. Really hoping for a win here on one of these events. For sure.
Well, hey, just maybe at the end of the day, instead of that national anthem, they're going to be playing "Oh Canada" because the 94 is going to be on top of the podium. Watch out for the number 94 of Rusty.
And that was the number 94 of Rusty Wyatt, the lone Canadian here in the field in 2022. He came out like a bad mother in Springfield, Ohio. Nobody had really known what they were going to do with that Crystal Clear Wiper Blades team. Again, like he had mentioned, they didn't really have a boat together once restrictions finally got lifted on Canadian citizens to travel back to the United States. He was kind of a wild card, and he came in. He's had some great success and some great heartache in Springfield, Ohio. If you remember a couple of years ago, the number 94 of Rusty Wyatt was literally 75 feet from taking home the checkered flag when his boat ran out of gas, one of those miscalculations by his racing team, and left him just a few feet short of a checkered flag in Springfield. He came back this year really looking to do some damage and to, get off the schneid, get that thing off his back. And we really hope to see the number 94, Rusty Wyatt. We're glad to have him back with us. It's so cool to see the international scope of drivers that we've had here in the past and continue to have on the Formula One Powerboat Championships. For a long time, we ran with the number 17 of Mark Major, another Canadian driver. We've seen drivers make their way up from the Caribbean and Mexico to run with us in the past. But the only non-American here in 2022 is the number 94 of Rusty Wyatt, and a great guy hailing out of Innisbrook, Ontario, Canada. So we're getting the rest of the drivers lined up. We've got about a third of the field in the water, just maybe half the field. The rest of them are getting lined up. And, one driver that really kind of surprised the heck out of me was the man who's sitting in pole position for the first of 3 qualifying heats here. We call him the Dust Man. He's out of Thibodaux, Louisiana. The number 03 of Dustin Terry. One part of that Clover construction team is running as well for Ameristar Roofing. He's got that brand new 200 APX V6 4-stroke competition, Mercury competition outboard on the back. The first few rounds of the year, it took some time, right? As to be expected, a brand new motor package, a brand new, going from a 2-stroke, which is the standard and has been the standard in Formula One powerboat racing globally for the last 35, 40 years. Prior to that, they moved from the V8s down to the V6s when you saw the likes of Bill Siebold run at the Bristol docks in England and ran against a bunch of V8 boats, and with the lighter, quicker, more nimble V6 Mercury outboard on the back really changed the landscape of Formula One powerboat racing. And now we're looking to move into that next stage, right, as Mercury and all our motor manufacturers look to find a cleaner, more green, more eco-friendly outboard on the back of these racing machines that still has some of that unbelievable power-to-weight ratio that Mercury has always been known for. And what they developed was 2 motors, the 360 APX V8 4-stroke, which is the big Formula One motor looking to possibly be run overseas. We've actually got another Formula One series running right now. The Formula One H2O series is running in Italy this weekend. They yet to have a driver adopt that motor package. We, on the other hand, have already made the jump here in the United States, moving to the green motor. We've got 3 drivers that have competed this year in the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series that are powered by the 200 APX, the V6 version of that new APX competition outboard. And for the first time ever in the history of Formula One racing, a 4-stroke is on the pole for any qualifying or main event. The 03 of Dustin Terry set a sub 30-second lap time here on this 3/4 mile 4-pin course in the shores of the San Jacinto. And I would tell you, I am absolutely stunned. He looked great out there. He ran it well, but I didn't think he ran it that well. And for somebody like myself, and for those of you out there across the world, wherever you are, if you're here hanging out with us in Highlands, I'd love to see that the boat club's got a lot of trees for some great shade. But I would have never expected that motor to go that fast because I'm not used to the sound. Right? Those of you who've been around Formula One racing for a long time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The sound of the motor really helps you understand how lean out that motor is, and it really, you put that with the visual on the water, you can really tell who are those really fast drivers and who aren't. Well, the power band and the noise that comes off of that 200 APX V6 Mercury competition 4-stroke outboard is a completely different sound. I'd call it more of a growl than a whine. The 2-strokes whine and they scream. The APX growls, and it's got a mean, nasty growl. And we're going to see how that thing's going to do coming off the beach, because the 03 of Dustin Terry has got pole position here in the first of a couple qualifying heats this afternoon as we are working to set our final starting order for the main event tomorrow afternoon. Unlike a lot of other racing series that will do, Formula One does a 3-round fastest lap. NASCAR does fastest lap, right? Every now and again, NASCAR, as well as Formula One, will do some sprint races or some qualifying heats. Well, they're taking that from us. We've been doing this for years. Qualifying heats have been a huge part of Formula One powerboat racing globally, but especially here in the United States. So what we do is we run 3 qualifying heats, and we invert the field for heats 2 and 3. Meaning, if you have garnered the most points up into that second qualifying heat, you are going to start last off the start pontoon. That makes it very hard. That's tough. Because so now you've got to take that. You got to take that boat that runs unbelievably well in the clean, open water that you get being a front runner. And now you've got to run through all that choppy, mushed up, nasty water from everybody else and try to make sure that you can get yourself up as far as possible in that finishing order so that you can gain as many points as possible. Because what we do is we take points from their fast lap qualifiers. We take points from all 3 qualifying heats. We total them all up. And whoever has the highest point total by the final of the third and final qualifying heat, they will be your pole sitter. There will be the driver that sits number 1 on that start pontoon tomorrow afternoon. I can tell you, with laying down sub 30-second lap times, that pole position is going to be absolutely crucial. And so it's very interesting to see what happens out here and how these guys try to jockey for position, because they know they're going to have to fight hard with 10 drivers inside of 1 second of one another. It's not going to be easy to pass. It's not going to be easy to get around. So that means you might see a very, very, very tight field points-wise come the main when we're trying to figure out where the main event is going to shake out tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be quite interesting. But we've got the majority of the boats on the water already. We're waiting for the last 1 or 2 to get loaded. Looks like we've got just 1 more boat left to load here in the Formula One classes. We've already had our first casualty. The Barletta boats, number 74 of Jesse Swain, was running as fast as I've ever seen him run. And Jesse's an unbelievable driver, and he's a great human being. And sure enough, he takes the motor cowling off after the 1-lap time trials. And there is stuff all over the inside of the motor. So they start stripping it down, and sure enough, they got a damaged cylinder. He does not have a backup motor that's in a ready status that he could just drop on the back of that boat. So unfortunately, DNS for the number 74 of Jesse Swain. But we've got now 13 drivers on the course right now, and we're going to get ready to rock and roll with qualifying heat number 2. And the man to beat is going so far, and the one that everybody is trying to knock off is the man out of Santa Rosa Valley, California, the number 24 of Spencer Love. And we actually able to sit down and chat with the 24 of Spencer Love and see what it's like being the man in the catbird seat that everybody's trying to knock off.
Joining me in the pits, the man who sits on top of the points here in 2022 on the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series, the man from California, the number 24 of Spencer Love. Spencer, it's been a solid 2022 so far here on the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series. What's it like being this late in the season, find yourself on top of the point standings?
I mean, it's always nice, obviously. I mean, it's nice to have a little cushion, and I don't know, we've been consistent every year, so as long as we try and stay consistent the rest of the year, hopefully we'll stay where we're at. But I mean, a lot can happen. We've been working on the boat, replacing basically everything in it. So I don't know. We've been here since Wednesday night and started working all day Thursday till 11 at night. Been working all day today. Missed the first test session. but we have a lot of electronic stuff in this boat for the steering wheel and the data, and it all kind of intermingles. And I don't know, it's just a lot of work, but I don't know, hopefully it'll all be worth it at the end of the weekend.
For sure. You took home the checkered flag in round 3, a much larger racing weekend that in Springfield, Ohio, which then caused you to have to rebuild an entire side of this Hoffman composite hull. How difficult has that been to try to get everything back? As you'd mentioned, multiple days till 11 o'clock at night. What kind of stress does that put on you and the team?
Well, I mean, right now we're building a house, so I can't take the stuff back to my house and work on it. My shop is about 5 hours away. So the shop where Rick works on the boat is only about 2 hours away. And I don't know, we got back after the race on Tuesday, I think, sometime. And then on the way home, talked to Rick, said, hey, can you just start making some of the parts so that I can get you the boat on Saturday and you can still have time to finish it? So he agreed to that. So we get home, go to work for 3 days, and then drive back out to Arizona, pick up the trailer, get it to Rick. And then he only had the boat for 2 weeks, and he was spraying paint on it 2 weeks from the day he got it on the deck, and he's painted the bottom and new sponson, new bottom. I mean, he worked really hard at it, and I don't know, it's our job now to keep working hard at it so all the hard work pays off.
Yeah, you and the number 8 of Jeremiah Mayo, the man who sits just right behind you in points, tangled up in a different racing class on the same weekend, but in the same hull. You got a lot of tough drivers nipping at your heels. Chris Frinker, Dylan Anderson, the previously mentioned Jeremiah Mayo. What do you believe you're going to have to do this weekend and through the rest of the season to hold those guys at bay and claim your championship here in 2022?
Honestly, this weekend, we just want to get through the weekend and come out clean and go to Havasu and, I don't know, try and win at Havasu.
Right on. Well, he's the man of few words, but he's a heck of a driver behind the wheel. He's got himself on top of the point standing here in 2022. Is he going to find himself another checkered flag this weekend on the San Jacinto? If he does, you might just be looking at the man who could be cruising his way to a 2022 championship. But hey, it ain't over till the fat lady sings, and this guy's going to push it to the limit till the end of the checkered flag. Good luck, Spencer.
Thank you. Yeah, no, my crew, they've been working hard the last 2 days, and I mean, it's a lot. It's a really fun thing that we get to do here, but it's a lot of work.
It all pays off in the end, right? With that checkered flag in hand, it's all worth it.
Hopefully, yeah. With as hard as they've worked, it does put a little bit of pressure on me this weekend, but we also don't want to tear anything up this weekend, so we're going to try and stay smart. So we'll see how that goes.
Right on, well, it's the number 24, Spencer Love, your points leader, coming into the penultimate round here on the Battle of the San Jacinto here in Highlands, Texas. It's the 2022 Formula One Powerboat Championships, and we'll be right back.
All right, that was the number 24 Spencer Love and the 94 of Rusty Wyatt, both giving us their takes on what they need to do this weekend to collect enough points, because we've only got one more round after the battle on the San Jacinto. Our final round of 2022 will be in the same place it was in 2021, on the shores of Lake Havasu, in beautiful Lake Havasu City, Arizona, right in front of the Nautical Beachfront Resort. If you want to get tickets, VIP experiences, and want to make your way down to the beautiful sandy shores of the Colorado River and Lake Havasu, you can check us out at F1PowerboatChampionship.com. You can get all your tickets and information about that race there. You can also check us out on Facebook at F1PowerboatChampionship.com. So those of you watching live right now, do me a favor. Smash that like button, hit that share button, and let everybody else know what you're doing, hanging out with us, watching some unbelievable Formula One powerboat racing here on the shores of the San Jacinto. Here in beautiful Highlands, Texas, right at the Baytown Boat Club that's been hosting boat racing for over 75 years here in Highlands, Texas, just east of downtown Houston. We're going to have to quickly reboot for just a couple of seconds here. I'm having some difficulties with my monitor, so we're going to jump down. We're going to quick jump back. We'll be right back in about 30 to 45 seconds with the start of the first of 3 qualifying heats here in the Formula One class at the 2022 Battle on the San Jacinto.